I know a fact about each and every one of you. You've experienced bad leadership, or at least have been treated differently by your leaders than you would have expected, starting from your parents, probably the most defining leaders in our lives, to teachers, trainers, and of course, business leaders. Well, of course, and of course I have too. I became aware of that in my early career as a violinist in professional orchestras, which I still am, traveling the world, working with different conductors from the very best known and well-known ones like Nikolaus Harnoncourt or Gustavo Dudamel, to the less famous ones like, I even forgot their names. When I was studying violin in London before that, in the late 90s, I already became aware, I realized the immense and immediate impact of different conductors on us musicians, on our discipline, on our commitment to give everything, and indeed in our willingness to open up all our senses, which of course is highly important for successful cooperation and creativity, not only in music. Very soon I started analyzing what this team of specialists, an orchestra, needs, wants, and expects from their leaders to be able to perform at their very best. By doing so, I realized the very best place to analyze how to form any strong and active team is in fact an orchestra. It's so condensed, everything gets clear. And this is for three reasons. Firstly, an orchestra is a true high-performance team of highly educated and specialized individuals. No doubt about that. As you know, we have to be creative and act and perform together in tenths of seconds. So observing the pinnacle of high-performance teams allows for some important insights. Second, deep down, every musician is aiming for excellence. We know mediocrity is death to any kind of art. And third, and probably most important, music is happening now, in the very moment. So there is no delay whatsoever on the impact of our leaders. So it's a high-performance team aiming for excellence, which is happening now. So over the years, I got a clearer and clearer picture about a group of people, what they need to get a better performance, the best result. And now and then, I even dared to tell our conductors what we, the musicians, need. But normally, I got pushed back, getting told I have no idea about conducting and leading. So I started to ask myself, what if there is a setting where leaders from all kinds and from all areas experience, emotionally and intuitively, ideally, the very best way to cooperate with a group of specialists by getting immediate and honest feedback from within. And this is when I started developing a method and a setting which I now call the sound of leadership, about 10 years ago, on how to boost leadership culture by getting immediate, clear and direct feedback from a team of specialists, those who are affected most by good or bad leadership. And this is how it works. On the one hand, you have a string quartet, my colleagues and me, representing the full orchestra and indeed every other team of specialists. And then you have a leader, on the other hand, who has no idea whatsoever about, no experience and no history about classical music whatsoever, and still has to be our leader and our conductor. So you can imagine jumping into this cold water and in this totally new role as a conductor is quite challenging. But this is refreshing, to say the least, and great. We get rid of all technical expertise, of all masks, empty phrases, or other strategies that normally hide behind. And we are left with a bare human being. suddenly dealing on a very deep interpersonal level of leadership. This very deep level is, of course, the foundation, the personal basis of good leading. Beforehand, the leader has to prepare a short piece of music, and then in the session has to present it to us and be our conductor. This works without any exception, both the preparation and the conducting, even though, as you can imagine, most of the participants think they're totally unmusical, which of course is not true. They might not be able to play an instrument or sing in tune, but music touches everyone. So preparation is important, firstly, because we don't want to go into a meeting where our leaders haven't got any idea about the project we are about to start. And secondly, because we musicians have our own, totally different, more or less clear ideas of this piece of music. So we need someone to guide us into one direction. Music is an immensely effective tool we work with. And there's one other important factor which makes this setting so unique and powerful. It's my colleagues. They're such special people. They're successful, top-class musicians traveling the world, playing concerts in every important concert hall over the place, which makes sure that in our setting we can react immediately to our leaders, and the music will always sound beautiful. And there are also very fine and sensitive personalities who can analyze what is going on in the moment extremely well. So we can give very clear, honest, and respectful feedback to our leaders. And on top of that, we can also give actual and concrete suggestions on how to improve the leadership culture in the very moment and reach a better performance everyone can experience and hear, no matter how unmusical or musical they think they are. So this process is very intense, serious, and direct, but in the end always also uplifting and good fun. I remember Isabel, a manager of a global company in Switzerland. She was really engaged conducting us. She was totally into it, dancing away in front of us while we were playing our instruments and working for her. She really enjoyed herself, which was fantastic. But then there were moments where the music paused and we really needed her to lead us through this transition to the next section. But she was so caught up in her enthusiasm that she totally forgot about us. So very soon, our first violinist started shouting at her while playing, "We need you, we need you," whenever those sections came along. So we really had to force her, taking care of her team in critical moments. So it's really important and nice to be passionate and enthusiastic about a project, but never forget about your team. Or there was Henrik, a CEO of an international company in Norway we worked with, this really strong and convincing leader who was really good in telling us the story and the atmosphere he wanted us to create with this soft and calm piece by Johann Sebastian Bach. Initially, we were really keen in achieving his lovely ideas, but when we started playing and he started conducting, he started shouting at us, which didn't fit at all. He was shouting things like, "Yeah, come on, feel it, don't think too much, feel it in your stomach," and those kind of things. So we were playing softly, and very soon we totally had to stop and literally put our instruments down. We were exhausted and told him, "Come on, let us do our job. You told us so convincingly your idea and your vision. We really want to fulfill it. So you only have to actually let us do it so." In about 10 minutes, we got him to step back a little bit, be very present and focused what we do. Of course, now and then give an impulse into the team, and it turned out magic. This strong guy was so touched, he had tears in his eyes. And the same happened to the observing colleagues. So after the session, Henrik told me this was exactly his issue. He kept hiring the best specialists and never let them do their thing. He interfered, and half a year later or so, they quit and ran away. And in our setting, it was the first time that he actually experienced emotionally, physically, that he can and he has to trust his specialists to achieve an extraordinary result. So we've worked with the sound of leadership, with companies and business schools all over Europe. We worked with more than 600 active participants in different settings and surroundings, sometimes with students, mostly with top-level leaders from literally all over the world, from remote places where they've never heard of Ludwig van Beethoven before, with leaders who love to listen to classical music. And there are 3 things I learned are most important to develop your personal leadership culture. Number 1, be yourself. Take your time to develop your personal leadership style. Imitating role models or any other external concept might impress in certain circumstances, but will never reach your team in the long run. Number 2, identify with the content. If you, the leader, are passionate about the project, about the purpose, what you're doing, your team will want to fully support you. Let them do so. And number 3, this might not fit in the picture of some strong leaders, but it is your job to serve the people you lead. We keep telling our political leaders they have to serve the country and serve the people. And this is in fact very true for all other areas. As a leader, you set the frame, you set the surrounding for all the others to feel well, to know what to do, and to perform at their best. Remember, the conductor doesn't make any sound, it's the orchestra. And this is where my definition of leadership comes in. Leadership is about making others better through your guidance and presence. Leadership is about making others better through your guidance and presence. It's quite clear the way to long-lasting success, regardless of products or content, always starts with your leadership culture in all areas, in your family, in school, in football clubs, in business. And your leadership culture will shape the culture of the people around you. And this will eventually lead to true commitment and identification within the team. We are all in the same boat. We all want to achieve something. We all want to be seen, loved, and respected. To know and to internalize this fact and to live it in an emphatic way is what we call culture. And last, and by all means not least, we are all leaders. Of course, not all of us are powerful political or business leaders, but even our language is quite clear. We are all leaders of our lives. So develop your very personal culture, leading your life and surrounding. And don't forget, classical music can be a powerful and uplifting partner in it. Thank you very much.